All right, so Amazon's fee changes for storage and fulfillment fees just went into effect yesterday as I record this. So my name is Kevin and I'm from Maximizing E-commerce. I help people build e-commerce businesses that they can be proud of. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on what changes, some of the highlights of what happened, and then talk about, how that can affect your business as you move forward. So just on that sort of note there, I know I've been doing this for about 3.5 years, and every time that Amazon rolls out new changes, I always hear grumblings, I typically will hear grumblings from people about, oh, Amazon's squeezing us or whatever the case is. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a business and their costs are going to go up. Their employees are going to have, raises, the cost of all their bills are going to go up. The cost of shipping is going up. So at the end of the day, Amazon's going to have some costs, and they're usually pushing it over to us. The good news is this year, you probably haven't heard a lot about it in like forums, if you go into Facebook groups and forums, because there's not a lot to talk about it because they're actually pretty mild. In fact, in some cases, these fee changes are actually in our favor, which I was like, wow, this is a good thing. So, looking at the fulfillment fees, one of the biggest things I noticed was that there is instead of having just from, less than £1 to £1 is all one tier, they basically added another tier. And that new tier is from, basically, an ounce to 10 ounces, or up to 10 ounces, I should say, is now one tier. And then 10 ounces, more than 10 ounces to 16 ounces, basically £1, that's a tier. So, and the difference is only like 9 cents. It affects me on a few of my products because most of my products are relatively lighter, but I do have some products that are in that 10 to 16 ounce range. So it was, I think, like 9 cents for a standard size item. So it's not a huge thing. I'm going to just have to make the decision of whether I'm going to just absorb it or raise the prices. And in some cases, I will raise the prices. And it may not be raise the price on all products, but some of the ones that are seem to be not as price sensitive, I'll just try it out and, maybe raise it a quarter or 50 cents even. So that way, if one or two products that are doing fairly well, that seem to be able to take on an additional price increase, it'll spread whatever cost increases I've had from other items across the board. So that was a little bit, and again, 9 cents. It's like, even if I had to eat the 9 cents per unit, do I want to? Absolutely not. But, am I willing to eat that 9 cents? Sure, I'll take it. So in addition to to that additional tier, they added in hazmat dangerous goods classification. So now dangerous good classification has its own rate structure for fulfillment. And I know that Amazon's been working a lot the last year or so, a little bit more than that, with identifying hazardous goods. I don't know if you're like me, leave a note in the comments if you are, where you've had goods flagged as being potentially hazardous, and it's like there's nothing hazardous about this, but for whatever reason they were going through clearing their catalog. It seems like now when you add something in there, you have to put whether it's lithium batteries or whatever the case is. So they're really trying to identify those that are potentially hazardous. And sometimes I have ones that I almost think they're just doing it just to spot check, where I add in a new product and then all of a sudden it's flagged as potentially hazardous, and there's nothing in the description that I can figure out would be causing it, because it's similar products. Even if I've just put in the title, it's like all of a sudden it's being flagged, and I have similar products that I put through same methodology and they're not flagged. So I don't know what causes it, but there is the exception form, and whenever I fill out the exception form, it's all fine. So anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent there. And, the point being that they did add the dangerous materials. Now, on storage, so storing your inventory, last year we got hit pretty hard with, instead of just on February 15th and August 15th, they were going to do for, anything that was in for at least 6 months, they were going to be charging us, now on a monthly basis, or for anything that was a rolling 6 months. So before, you almost could play the game of on February 26th, send something in, so that when they figured it out, how long your product had been in storage on August 15th, it had been just less than 6 months, so you didn't have to pay any storage fees until February of the following year, when it had been there for almost a year, but you're only in the 6-month classification. So I know a lot of people like myself kind of played with that a little bit. Basically, like, if you had something to send in, you may delay a few days if it's like right before that cutoff of February 15th and August 15th. And so I think Amazon said, well, wait, people are kind of playing the system here. So they said, okay, we're going to make it now a rolling 6 months and a rolling 12 months. So anything that's been in for 6 months, and we're going to do this monthly. And this is what they came up with last year, that they would charge us on a monthly basis a long-term storage fee. And they had minimums on that. Well, good news is they got rid of the 6-month classification. So if you have something that's in there 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, you're not paying monthly like we were at this point last year. And then, or when they rolled it out last year. And then also good news, if you do have something in that's more than 365 days old in one of the warehouses, instead of being charged 50 cents minimum per month per unit, it's 15 cents. Now that's all based on volume, and the actual storage fees themselves stayed the same, with a little bit of an exception here, which I'll get into in a moment. But good news is storage isn't necessarily going up, and those changes of having to put in 6 months, paying at 6 months if something had been in there, that was one of those things that was, at least for me, it was causing me to say, okay, I'm going to keep more stuff off to the side and not send it in. And I probably got burned a couple times with playing that game of not sending stuff in right away, because in addition to this, they also had rolled out the inventory scoring, which is still in effect. And then I also got a storage facility, because at the beginning of the year, before they rolled out that new philosophy, I was sending in like all kinds of stuff into the warehouse, thinking like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to send all this stuff in, and it's going to be like, late February, and it'll be fine. And then they roll out the new inventory guidelines, and then I was like, oh no, I'm going to get pounded with this. So, and I think a lot of people had that too. So good news is it's making it a little more cost effective to keep things in long term, at least kind of, let's say, mid to long term, so in that 6 to 12 month range. So I'm excited about that. So I will probably start sending a little bit more into Amazon, and I think that's really what they're trying to encourage us to do, because they ultimately don't want to run out of products. So what was different though is if you have anything that's potentially hazardous, or it's got a lithium battery or something along those lines, that's a dangerous good, not only do you have a fulfillment fee that's a little bit higher because it's a dangerous good, you also have a storage fee that's higher because it's a dangerous good. So just keep that in mind. So out of curiosity, if any of these are affecting you, or if you've noticed anything else, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about how this is affecting you and your business. And then also what was good news was, from what I could tell, in anything that was multi-channel fulfillment, so you're sending an order off to a customer that maybe purchased on Shopify or eBay or somewhere else, those fees did not go up. And then also the inventory placements fees didn't change either. They didn't change that last year. So that was basically like, if you're sending all your inventory into one warehouse rather than letting them pick, 2, 3, 4 warehouses or whatever, if you're just sending it into one, they were charging you a fee for that, or they still are charging you a fee. That fee just didn't go up. So that was good news. As much as we don't like paying fees, but it's always good when fees don't change, because then we have to make adjustments in our business. So again, love to know how this is affecting you and your business. And if you found this video to be helpful, I'd absolutely love it if you can give that little thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. And hope you're having a great day, and wish you the best in your e-commerce journey. Take care.